If I wanted to live near Boise, but in a smaller town off the beaten path that still had all of the big city amenities, I'd pick KUNA, Idaho. KUNA really is known for being the bridge between total rural living and urban living. Even though it has a population of almost 27,000, it still holds a smaller town feel. In the past few years, there have been many different subdivisions popping up all over town, so as you're driving through KUNA, you're going to see quite a mix from single-family subdivisions to larger acreage or horse properties, and even farm fields interspersed throughout the area. KUNA is home to one of the biggest slaughterhouses in the entire nation. It finished completion in 2017, so it is still very new. It offers tons of careers for people while servicing multiple needs and processing up to 1,700 head of cattle per day. KUNA, for the most part, is going to be entirely part of the KUNA High School District, which has been the original one for the town for decades. One thing that I need to mention, and it could be a huge pro for some people while others might see it as a huge con. Facebook, or Meta, is building a huge data storage facility south of town. During the construction of this facility, which is currently taking place, it is going to employ thousands of construction workers. However, once it's completed, it's not going to take that many to maintain it from what I've been told. One of the big stipulations for Facebook or Meta being able to go in and build in this area was that they needed to help out with the sewer and water issues because KUNA is currently at capacity with their sewer and water system. So Facebook Meta actually is putting in sewer water system. However, it's not even going to tie into the main city's water system. It's its own private system. So do with that information what you like. All of the recent growth in KUNA over the last couple years has definitely not come without pain. There are a couple main issues. One being infrastructure in the roads. The roads weren't designed to have this many people, so they are constantly being worked on to bring them up to the needs of how many people are living there. And with that becomes road closures, chip sealing, all sorts of stuff that really just frustrates everybody. The second is that KUNA's sewer system is way over capacity, and I don't even know if they have plans to fix it. Even though the town has a smaller population, KUNA is home to a whopping 11 parks in total. As for hospitals in KUNA, they don't have any full-size facilities and only have smaller urgent care centers like primary health. So if you need a hospital, you're going to have to drive up to Meridian to do that. KUNA really is pretty simple to get around as there aren't a ton of roads, and most of them are laid out in a grid pattern. The main road that most people use to get in and out of KUNA is going to be Highway 69 or Meridian Road. This will take you all the way up and connect you to Interstate 84. One of the other main roads to head out north of KUNA would also be 10 Mile Road, but this takes you closer to the Nampa side rather than the Boise side of the valley. Being in a small town is always a concern for younger people or people of all age, as there can be not so many things to do, but if you're an outdoorsy person, there's a ton to do around KUNA. Some of my favorite memories in KUNA involve floating the Indian Creek. If you ask anyone that lives in the Boise area what they like to do in the summer, you'll find more often than not, people love to float the Boise River, but not nearly as many have floated the Indian Creek. If you've never floated before, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Indian Creek for starters because it can be a little rough in places, but it still is a great chance to cool off in the heat. The Indian Creek is also a great place to go fish for rainbow trout, which Fish and Game stocks multiple times throughout the year. And it's going to be one of those things, if you go floating without your fishing pole, you're going to wish that you had taken it. It happens to me every time I decide not to. It's like, there's a fish, there's a fish, there's a fish, there's a fish. You know how it goes. If you're feeling the need to go for a stroll or take your dog for a walk, you can absolutely do that on the Indian Creek Greenbelt. Just as the name would imply, there's a nice paved greenbelt that meanders alongside of the Indian Creek in KUNA. South of KUNA, right next to the Snake River, is the Swan Falls Hydroelectric Dam. There are tons of opportunities to enjoy out here, from hiking and swimming to exploring the museum inside of the dam. There's some awesome fishing out there as well, and you can catch tons of fish like bass, catfish, sturgeon, perch, crappie, and a ton more. Even if you aren't getting out of your car, it still makes for a great sightseeing drive to go out there and catch a sunset. In the winter, you can even waterfowl hunt out here as well. However, every time I've gone out there, it hasn't really shaped out too well. 63% of Idaho is comprised of public land, which is one of the many reasons the state is so awesome. Around the Swan Falls area, south of KUNA, is a huge chunk of BLM land where you can go out and explore, from riding side-by-sides and dirt bikes to hunting and shooting. There is tons to do out there. you have to be very careful when you go outdoors in Idaho, because a lot of people forget that this is still the Wild West. There are a lot of critters out there that won't be too happy with you if you sneak up on them, like badgers, mountain lions, rattlesnakes, coyotes. However, there is a chance to see a ton of less aggressive animals like deer, pronghorn, rabbits, all sorts of stuff, and there are tons of birds of prey in the area as well. If you're wanting to do a little bit of adventuring, you need to check out the KUNA caves. The Boise area in general has a very volcanic past, and we still have remnants to this day, and the KUNA caves are just a testament to that. You can go down the metal stairs into the cave, and it's pretty sad actually to see that people felt the need to graffiti over it, but it's still a cool experience to go see nonetheless. As for housing, you can find a little bit of everything from single family homes in large subdivisions from large builders like CBH or Hubble Homes, or even in custom subdivisions made up of multiple upper end custom home builders. And of course, you can find larger properties to have extra elbow room or have animals and whatnot. You can find smaller acreage properties with single or double wide homes, all the way up to very high end custom homes on sprawling ranches. If you are looking for acreage properties in the Boise area, I did do a video and I highly recommend you go check it out. It's this one right here, but I'll have it linked at the end of the video, so go check it out because it is a great video. One of the many nice things about KUNA is that even though it's a small town, you don't need to leave the town to actually do all of the shopping that you need to do. There are a few grocery stores in KUNA like Albertsons, Ridley's, and Family Dollar, and stores to fit all of your other needs like Tractor Supply, Ace Hardware, and D&B Supply. And it has been brought to my attention that not many people who aren't from Idaho know what D&B Supply is. And I'm just going to preface it by saying what their slogan is, and it's everything you need to eat, sleep, and play in the West. That perfectly sums all of it up. You can get anything from clothes to saws to feed for your livestock, even vaccines, all sorts of stuff there. The one kind of shopping that you will not have in KUNA is going to be your bulk shopping at like Costco. So if you're wanting to do any Costco shopping, you're going to have to go north into either Meridian or Boise to do that. For restaurants, you can find your typical chains like Arctic Circle and Papa Murphy's, along with a handful of smaller local establishments like Enrique's or Big Mix. I hope this video has been helpful and given you some insight into what it is like to live in KUNA, Idaho. If you like this video, I highly encourage you to check out this one about the best subdivisions in KUNA, and then I'll tag this playlist right here for you to check out. Until next week, I'm Isaac Crace with Top Idaho Real Estate, your third generation Idaho Realtor.